Hey everybody, welcome to Upstairs to the Right Music channel. Thank you so much for joining in this Sunday evening, another episode of Sunday at Mike's. Whether you're watching this live right now or you're going to catch this in the rewind, I want to let you know that I really do appreciate you taking the time to do so. How is everybody? Good to see everybody again, to be here again with you. Let me make some adjustments here as usual. No, I think that's good. And yeah, light looks good. All right, I think we're good. How is everybody? I'm getting a little bit of a feedback here. Hold on. Let me make some adjustments here as usual. Let me turn this down, guys. And yeah, light looks good. All right, I think we're good. How's the sound out there, guys? I think we're doing good. All right, hold on one second, guys. Let me work on this. Let me turn this. All right, I think we're back. I think that worked it out. How's that, guys? Yes, there we go. There's a little bit of feedback here. A few kinks to work out. It's been a week or 2 weeks now. It's been a minute since we've had a live here, so we got to work the kinks out. Hello there, everybody. Welcome. Yeah, so good to be back, to be here with you guys. I had to take some time off, but in that time, there was certainly a lot of interesting things to cover and to talk about. Let's see who's here. Ben, welcome. Frederick, welcome. Dino Zero, thank you. Welcome. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. I am a computer. Welcome. The Doc's in the house. Cat's Music Journey. Hello there, everybody. It's so good to see everybody here this evening. Yes. All right. Well, I always sit back, as you know, and think about what are we going to talk about Sunday at Mike's. Try to bring you something interesting and maybe something to think about. This week, I hope, is no different. The title of this was 16 million new guitarists, and now we have 15,900,000 for sale on Craigslist, which is not my joke. That's a joke that I saw on one of the forums that I read, but it cracked me up because it summed everything up so well. Yeah, it is a good one. But it's kind of true, guys. It's the best thing about humor is when it has a sense of the truth in it. And certainly with this, we're seeing a sense of the truth. We are seeing that these big companies like Fender and Gibson and a lot of these cats starting to catch those tailwinds that I've been talking about. That snowball effect is starting to hit the manufacturers. And Fender has issues this week. I'd like to start out tonight by doing something that I don't do a lot. I'm going to actually read from an article that has a very interesting title to it. Guitars were no longer the priority. Fender had $100 million. Sorry guys, I'm having a little bit of difficulties here. Not sure what the deal is. It's Labor Day weekend and YouTube is is doing their thing. Tommy Mac, welcome. Happy Labor Day, welcome. So if you see me every now and then putting my finger on the screen, that's just to keep it from popping out, guys. I'm not giving you the finger. Yeah, thanks, Ben. I'll keep doing this just to keep it refreshed. YouTube, I couldn't even upload the post. This link to do the live stream tonight. YouTube was crashing, so they obviously got some issues. I don't know how far we're going to make it tonight, folks, but we'll give it a shot. So getting back to this, so Fender had $100 million worth of retail sales canceled in 2022. Now, I read this article, and I was just astounded, to be frank with you. by some of the things that the Fender CEO said in this article. Basically, the gist of what he feels is the issue is that the priority because of inflation out there is no longer with guitars. Well, thank you, Captain Obvious. It's like, all right, okay. Now that just to fast forward through this, so we don't have to belabor this too long. That roughly equates to about 600,000 guitars and 200,000 amps. So that will either have now it is unclear how much of this was actually put into production and how much of it is stuff that was orders that were going to be followed through on yet as of yet. Certainly, they're going to start curbing their productions in their Indonesia, their Mexico, and their United States factories. I doubt that this will impact upon their custom shop guitars and those kind of things because I think that's, as we see with that flagship store that they opened up in Ginza in Tokyo, that's the direction that they're going into, and this article kind of alludes to that. They said they had to deal with almost 100 million worth of canceled orders. So what did they deal with it? Let's see here. So we had 16 million people pick up a guitar during the pandemic, which is, again, why there's a lot of humor in today's title. But he said, we took action. It was one of those things that you could not wait to do. And so he makes a statement. Hold on. Scrolling through, guys. Bear with me. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Okay. So basically, he says that it was his idea to turn the company around, make that tough decision, and make the call to cancel those orders from their retailers, he says in this interview. And I can't find the exact line. I'm not going to belabor that much longer. But the point of it is, I put a deposit on an American Vintage 2 Strat the day Fender announced them in October 22, and I still haven't got it. Yes, yeah, I'm getting to that. That's what this is actually about tonight, because, where exactly are their priorities? As I was alluding to there before I started digging through that article, looking for that quote, and I'll get back to that quote. One thing that I do know is that the wait times for a lot of the custom shop stuff isn't always necessarily what you think it's going to be. They give you these predicted times of 1.5 years, and there's guys who've been waiting for 2. Or should I say it hasn't come in yet? Either way, Ben, it's not there, however you word it. And that is actually starting to follow through a lot in some of the, the not custom shop, the stuff that they put out in shops, the retail, basic retail stuff, as Ben was talking about, and as Tommy was talking about. I'm sorry, Ben was talking about there. Sorry, guys. Not exactly all there tonight, but I'm dealing with it. Hey, Anthony, welcome. And look at that. So he says our priorities are going to shift in terms of how we're going to make up that $100 million shortfall. And he's basically alluding to the fact that their plan, which is become more obvious now, he couldn't have spelled it out. Like any great James Bond villain, he has to explain his plan before he does it. And he's basically saying we're going to take a shift into the more expensive items, and we're going to put our focus on the flagship store in Ginza and expand out to make up on that shortfall, on the higher end stuff. And why is there a shortfall? And where is the shortfall? Well, the shortfall is in there, as I was saying, their retail stuff. And hey, James, welcome. Thank you so much for showing up. Good to have you guys here. It is warm. You know, guys, it was a tough week. I lost a very good buddy of mine. I don't want to get into too much because you don't want to see a grown man cry, but my good buddy of 15 years, and it was a tough one. But to be able to sit here and talk to you guys is certainly bringing a little bit of joy to me this evening. And so yeah, Fender is moving in that direction, and for him to make the statement that, thank you, I appreciate that, I really do. For him to make that statement that the write-off, you know, the way to make up that shortfall, and then we canceled the orders. That was what it was. He said, "Yeah, Anthony, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's never easy, man. You know that guy. You know, he started in L.A., went to Japan, went to Singapore. These are all countries he lived in. So he got around. He had a good life. He had a good run, as we say. Still gonna miss him." But the Fender CEO saying that he made the tough decision to cancel the orders from the retailers. That's when I was reading that article and I nearly spit out my drink, because I said, "Come on, dude. I know a Fender retailer, okay? I know two Fender retailers. And in both of their cases, they have both indicated they're unhappy with Fender and Gibson also as well, by extension, because of the conditions and terms, the absolute cutting of their balls when it comes to the stock that they have, and then putting other stuff, price increases every 6 months, just making the margins squeeze a lot, even in some cases, nothing there, no margin. And a lot of those cancel orders wasn't his decision. It came on the retail side. The retailer said, "Oh, whoa, wait a minute, guys, whoa, we got enough stuff here, and we're having issues with what we got already." And that kind of ties into with the other part of that of the title, the 15,900,000 guitars for sale on Craigslist. It still cracks me up, because again, in any good humor, there's a little bit of shred of truth. If you go out, we talked about the numbers of Strats and Tellys on Reverb. I haven't looked into Craigslist. I really should, and see what the numbers on that are. But we were well into 16,000 for sale in terms of Fenders, yeah, on Reverb alone. 16,000, dig that. And so really, of course the retailers have to face that. Again, it's like that cold wind, that warm air hitting, and you know what that makes. Not for a good time. And of course, Captain Obvious states that guitars are no longer the priority. Right now is summer vacation, so your basic guy with the wife and kids and all that, or maybe just on their own, their priority is going to be into vacation travel. It's when those winter months start kicking in, if you live in such a place where that affects you, that you start getting a little bit more insular, and you start saying, "Hey, instead of me driving down there, let me order, this and that and the other," and that's how that starts. And then, well, it's getting close to Christmas, so I'll give myself an early Christmas present. And so, of course, you'll see that kind of bump coming up. But no, it's not a priority. It's not necessarily just inflation. It's also seasonal as well. There's a bit of that to it. So, Fender, man, they have issues. And really, again, I touched upon this before, the foundation of a lot of these issues is the overproduction of guitars. They're produced, when you get into a situation where you have to cancel 600,000 guitars and 200,000 amps, you really have to ask yourself, I've asked this question. I'll keep asking it until somebody out there can give me a logical, straight answer. Who's buying these? Such production. You got to create this big company, so that means you have to produce more units. And whether you really have that base or not, you know. That 100,000 that's left out of that figure that's holding on to those guitars out of that 16 million, that's at 10%. And again, only 10% of that 10% is going to be walking into that Ginza store. Now that tells you something about the prices and the markups on those if they feel as though that kind of business proposition is going to give them the kind of windfall that'll make up for the loss on their retail write-offs in terms of orders. It's something that I ask again and again, and I ask it again tonight. Who's all this stuff for? So that shows that 600,000 that wasn't needed really in the first place, and that's a doggone lot of wood, a lot of strings, a lot of magnets, a lot of plastic, a lot of metal. What is this? And so I have no sympathy for them whatsoever. And actually, I think it's a good thing that the retailers are striking back, and Fender has to paint it as if, oh, I'm the hero. I'm the one who decided to cancel $100 million worth, $200 million worth of business, or whatever it is. Yeah, because I was just that forward thinking. I thought, oh, gee, we don't need that money. We did so well the last year. We can write it off. Yeah, and in some ways, it will be a write-off. The truth of the matter is, depending upon stock on hand, what they can write down, insurance, this, that, and the other, it may actually just represent, 20 million, but still, that's or 10% or less, and so, or 20%. So if it's 100 million, I think that was 100 million. I believe this article said. Go to the top to check that. Yeah, 100 million. So, yeah, still, in all, that's 600,000 guitars and 200,000 amps that just did not need to be made, man. It's just, and I'm glad that they're not. So, dig that. But where does that consumption come from? So, how are we doing on time? Oh, man, my timing couldn't be more impeccable. I just wish this would stop cutting out. It's weird tonight. Never did this before. And like I said, YouTube was not the best thing. It's Memorial Day, so everybody's doing their YouTube thing, so that doesn't surprise me. But again, guys, forgive me for having to put my finger in the screen every few seconds. The question that leads to is, okay, all this overproduction of guitars, what is fueling? What's the, I always like to get into what is the psychology behind, what's fueling that kind of production, the need to make that kind of production. So I want to ask you guys a question tonight. I will bring out a prop, and I have to bring out the prop and touch the screen at the same time. So like now, this is a good example. There we go. This is my 2001 Squier Affinity. You guys know this guitar. I just got it. It's my first Strat I ever had. I've had it for a while. I've got a chance to get underneath the hood and make some corrections and get it purring again. And I have to tell you, even though let me not say that. Well, my experience with Strats is limited to walking through stores, picking them up, strumming a few chords, and putting them down. But I've done that in quite a few stores with quite a few Strats. And I've just come to love this guitar. I like this Affinity because I like the fact that it's 3 millimeters thinner than a Strat. I like the fact it's lightweight. but still made out of outer wood. I like a lot of things about it, especially in the fourth position. These ceramic magnets in the fourth position on this guitar are excellent. It's an excellent sound. So I'm going to pose a question to you guys tonight concerning this guitar. Again, a 2001 Squier Affinities used, guys, even the newer ones, you can get them for under $150. Older ones like this, again, I got this for $89 US. So not including the shipping from Belgium. Inexpensive. But really, I have this is my Strat. I don't feel the need to get a Fender Strat. I don't feel the need because it really has a Strat tone to it. Again, it's the body and the wood is well constructed. I would be, if I took this guitar in the 1960s to any concert and handed it to any musician of that time, they would have said, "Holy cats, where did you get that guitar from? It sounds great." And so what's my point? What's my point here? The question is, are you conditioned to think of this guitar as a beginner instrument with the mind to upgrade? Bottom line is, it's the player, not the guitar. Squiers are great guitars. Yeah, so the question, are you conditioned to think of this guitar as a beginner guitar, okay, with the mindset to upgrade? In other words, you're being told, hey, that's a beginner guitar. That Squier is a beginner guitar. That's a beginner guitar. It's a beginner guitar. It's like that. Constantly, and I think I've been handling enough guitars through my life, my career, that I could make a distinction of what I guess, I wouldn't say beginner, I would say a budget guitar would be, okay, it's a budget guitar. But let's look at that again. Maple neck, rosewood fretboard, outer body. Sounds like a Strat to me. This conditioning to buy that and say, okay, that's your first little simple guitar. Now, later on, when you become a big boy, you can come to us to our custom shop and buy one of these, or one of our stores like Guitar Center or Tonman, or you fill in the blank. And to hey, Ford, welcome. Thank you for showing up. Good to see you. And and I'm not. This is not an argument about the quality of those guitars. Those are great guitars, and they're worth buying and waiting for, certainly. But being told that a guitar like this is somehow, a beginner guitar is what I'm focusing on. I'm focusing on that, and really asking the question, really? Is it really? Is it really? As was just pointed out there, it's about, bottom line is, it's the player, not the guitar. Squiers are great guitars, yes, has been said, and this conditioning has led to this production of these 100. This is 600,000 they canceled. Think of the millions, that preceded that. Dude, that is a lot of production. And you're being told to upgrade because they've got to move this stuff. So their focus point is to tell you that this is our beginner series, and this is our junior series, and this is our, big boy series. When the truth of the matter is, to get the job done, anyone in that line will do it. If you have the money to buy the big boy series, please, by all means. Middle ground, fine. The Squier, fantastic. Either way, up or down the line, you get the job done, because, as pointed out, it's about this. But the psychology there is to try to get you to move it, and it's old as time. You always got to upgrade. Again, that's the bread and butter of every secondhand parts manufacturer in this market. You know, um, always get back to golf clubs because I wonder, is there an upgrade on your golf bag? Like, I got the Tektronic 3000 golf bag. This thing, man, it knows exactly what club I need for that hole. So it acts as a caddy. It rolls around like R2D2 because it's got wheels in the motor. Serves drinks and has an automatic parasol if I need shade. I wonder if there's that kind of thing out there. But certainly in the guitar market, we get into I've got to have this pickup or these are the only good ones, or you've got to buy these pickups that are made in a secret location in outer Yugoslavia in the mountains in a cave with no lighting. Like how Iron Man made his chest thing in that movie. And they cost about $899 each. But they're the best. You gotta have them. They're the best sounding best. Yeah, you gotta wonder these things. I'm sorry, guys, I digress, but it's just funny to me because it's ridiculous to think and to make that kind of statement. I have played this thing and I've come to the conclusion that this is not a beginner guitar, it's a guitar. Is it a good guitar? Is it a bad guitar? Okay. It just so happens in the case of this one, it's a good one. Really didn't have to, the guy who had it was the one and only owner, and he kept it stock and he kept it clean and he kept it good. And I've got nothing to say to that. But a beginner guitar? No. It's a good guitar. So I don't think we should, and so again, but you can't be sitting there thinking to yourself, well, this is a good guitar, and even though I've got $1,500 burning a hole in my pocket, this is a good guitar. I like the way it sounds. It's good to me. I don't feel that need to go from there, and that's where they play at. It's making that decision. They try to make the decision for you, saying, oh, of course you need to upgrade. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But they have to keep selling because they've got, as you saw in that news article, they've got a lot of units that they've got to move. So this all gets back again to the mantra, am I good? And Ben was pointing out that he's been waiting for a guitar for a while now, and that just is fascinating because again, I was reading stuff from guys who ordered from the custom shop who were complaining, making the same complaint. So I wonder, it's an odd market. I bring that back up again about delivery times because I really wonder supply chain issues. It's got to be an issue that they can't. Even in this article, he mentioned that a part that costs 30 cents now costs $30, which led to the thought, well, now you're saying, well, you were outsourcing that part because it was cheaper to produce in America. Now, but if you had kept your American factories or your British factories, then you'd probably be paying less. But you close those down so you could outsource. Now your outsourced stuff it's it just that article. That's why I spit my coffee out when I read that article, because I'm starting to remember some of the things that he was saying. I was like, dude, you created this issue, or contributed to it for your bottom line. Now you're coming and complaining to us. The worst part is that everything is going up while our dollar value drops every day. It's insane. Well, our dollar value, as I pointed out, I'm sure of you guys, if you don't know, has been dropping since the shenanigans on Jekyll Island back in 1912. So when the Federal Reserve was thrown together, and that affects every currency worldwide, and so and the ripples of that. When you go off the gold standard, then The value is then based on something else. And is that a shaky thing? Yeah. So, but again, guys, it's just fascinating to me. I have no sympathy for Fender. I have none at all. I have sympathy for the workers because they what they did. That's another thing. So because they were getting they were because of the pandemic, they were getting all these orders and they couldn't fill them. They hired all these people to anticipate down the future line continuation of these orders. When that dried up, now they're laying off those people because they were wrong. Everything that he did that they actually did was the wrong thing to do. It was wrong to outsource because now you're paying 30 cents. Now it's $30. And hired these people in, you promised jobs, some of those moved from here or there, they got an apartment, got their car, their sub going to work, and now they're fired. And wrong decision, wrong reading the tea leaves. And then he tries to say that, oh, I made the decisions because he's got to save his ass somehow. And he makes the statement in this article that it was his decision to cut these orders, to work with our retailers and cut these. Yeah, they told you, no, we don't want this stuff because nothing's moving right now. And he's out there trying to save face. And it's sad. It's a sad thing to watch these guys. Once you know these guys have been around them enough, you'll see that they're paper tigers, man. They really are. And it's funny. But they use their psychology to try to get you to feel as if, you need to do these upgrades. And sometimes you do, just sometimes for yourself, you say, you know what, hey, I want to do that. But I don't want some third party telling me that what I already got is crap when they produced it. Well, if you're saying that, it's a beginner's and it ain't that great, then why are you making it in the first place? Well, oh, so you can upsell me later on something else. Oh, I got you. But wait a minute, what if, you made the mistake of outsourcing the production and those guys didn't get the memo and they actually made it really pretty good. Now what do you got to say? And that's what happened in the case of these Squires when they got over to China. Basically, the Taiwanese company took it seriously, and their production demands, even during that time, were very high, and they produced a good product that, sitting next to me, stood the test of 22 years. And so dig that, guys. Dig that. Where are we at here? All right, we're doing good. All right, so enough on that. I don't want to belabor that too much, but it is it's a sorry state of affairs. And those two things, again, with Fender and that question, are you conditioned to think of this as a beginning instrument in the case of this, or other guitars in that price range? And, like an Epiphone, for God's sake, the new Epiphones are going for $1,500-$1,600 when you get over here to Europe. So but so that kind of doesn't fall in that category anymore now, does it? But we are seeing that trend towards those more pricier things because they are, they're anticipating that if you have them, they're that 10% again, and how much of that 10% would see themselves buying an Adam Jones model and paying that kind of money. Or the Greenie that's coming out, which I'm sure is going to be around the same price. And so, they're marketing even within that stratum they're setting up. And that market tier of the $500-$600 ones, those are the ones that the orders were getting cut on. In the case of Fenders, they're Squire lines. So, yeah, influences and output is the second half of tonight's discussion. As you guys know, I released my album this last Thursday. on Bandcamp. The name of the album is Ants in the Pantry. It's there's a couple of things. It's actually named after, of course, the ants in the pants, ants in the pantry. There's a little pun there, a little play on words there. But the title of that it actually comes from a 30s Three Stooges movie. I thought of naming it after an old Three Stooges because I like the Three Stooges. So that's the origins of the title of the album. But I released that this week on Bandcamp. And I want to first say that it is a pleasure to be able to put out a record. Now I put it out under the title of under the name of my band, my Japanese band Asanoki. So if you go to Bandcamp and you look up Asanoki, 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 and look up Ants in the Pantry, you'll find the album. I'm very pleased with this album, guys. It's because of moving from Singapore to here, because of all the pandemic and all the things and setting up business here and the problems with getting it mastered earlier this year like I wanted to. It took time, but I'm glad that it did. Because it turned out so late. It was actually the biggest amount of time. Usually I can write and get an album out within 3 months, maybe 4 at the tops. This one took a number of years to put together. Some of it was done in Singapore and some of it was done here in Amsterdam. But at the end, it's all good work. And I want to invite you guys, if you want to show your support for this channel. You know, I don't ask for super chats. I don't have a PayPal or donate this or anything like that. I told you guys that I wouldn't do anything like that. That's just something that I wouldn't ask of you. What I like to do is give you something of good value. So if you want to help this channel out, and support this channel, I would really, really be touched. And just to know that you guys are the ones listening to the music, my friends, my good supporters here on this channel, taking the time to listen to it, that means a lot to me. I'd rather have a few people who appreciate it, listen to it, and support it than masses of people who just treat it like a disposable commodity, which is the reason why it's only going to be on Bandcamp. It's not going to be on Spotify like the rest of my stuff. But again, if you want to support this channel, show your support for this channel, please buy a copy. Buy a copy of the album, guys. Go to Bandcamp, Asanoki, Ants in the Pantry, and support this channel by buying, and that's exactly what you would be doing. And I feel as though I've given you something that's worth your hard-earned money, because as we just discussed, the dollar is not getting much better. But it was a labor of love. I'm very pleased to be able to present it to you. I will be hawking this one for a while. You'll be hearing about this album for a while, because I really want people who come to this channel who enjoy this content to also listen to the music that I do, because I talk about guitars and I talk about production, this, that, and the other, and it's all good theoretical and talk, but the actual rubber to the road, I can show my example of what I do. And I'm very humbled to be able to do it. It really is a humbling gift to be able to present something like this. So please, again, if you want to show your support for this channel, go to bandcamp.com, look up the Asanoki album, and Asanoki as a band, as a group, and the album is Ants in the Pantry. So tonight, however, I do want to, since I'm talking about the album, I want to present another track from it like we did previously, and discuss it a little bit and play it for you so you can hear a little bit of the record tonight before we go. and I can talk about influences a little bit. Um, you know, I told you guys that my background influences comes from, two polar opposites, my mother and my father, and then when he became a teenager, my brother. But initially, really, you're formulated by what your parents hear, what you hear at home. And my dad, again, was a big classical music and a big opera fan and jazz. That was his thing. Uh, he really, I don't think he really enjoyed most pop music, to be honest with you. My mother, on the other hand, she loved country. She loves country music. She loves pop music and things of that. So when they played their records, when they played music, and yes, I'm talking about records. It was during a time when there were records. We had just pulled into town on our wagon coach. We had to shoot the mule because that last 500 miles was just too much. But when we got there, we took out the record player. I'm dating myself a little bit there. But those were my influences, and they've played out with me musically a lot. And again, I wanted this album, Asanoki, when I was writing it. It had a lot of phases, and I'll play you one of these days the track. As I said, as I release this album as the weeks go, I'll play it and discuss different tracks. But the one I'm going to, there's a track called A Heart Comes in the Cold, which was actually the title track, but I changed it around to Ants in the Pantry. But this evolving and this changing of this album that I wanted to be a rock album, my pop influences, were, and rock too. My mother rock as well. My mother is real. Like I said, I went to see heavy metal with my mom. In 79 that was. And she loved the music of Queen and Sammy Hagar and a lot of groups were in that. A lot of great soundtrack. And we both loved it. But there is that pop influence. And so tonight, let me grab this. I want to, if you guys don't mind, how are we doing out there, everybody? Is everybody doing okay? What are you guys drinking tonight? I'm drinking my usual pear juice and actually it's kind of disgusting. This is pear juice, lime juice, and grenadine. But I kind of needed the sugar rush to keep this going good. Sometimes, I look down in the comment section and it slows down and I'm wondering, am I giving a dissertation? Coffee. Thank you. Good, yeah. Yeah, depending upon where you are in the world. But, I want to play a track for you. So, from the album. And because I thought it's a great way to talk about my influences. And also to give you a chance to listen to a little bit more of the album, maybe get you to be interested in checking it out. Again, pop being there, and when I talk about pop, I'm talking about my mom would play Henry Mancini albums, so we're talking about traditional pop like Pink Panther themes, and she would play a lot of Beatles stuff, Jose Feliciano. John Denver I mentioned a lot. And so that sensibility of writing a pop song is there with me. And sometimes, though, when I'm writing a song, a fragment of something will turn into a song. Not necessarily chords. The song that I'm going to share with you guys tonight started out actually from a guitar solo. I was playing around with this lick. How am I gonna do? I don't this. I'm sorry. I'll have to do this and hit the screen, or it'll go. I'll hit it again. So just that. That da 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 da. So I was just playing that riff over and over, just as a kind of a warm up thing, playing it in different positions, and it triggered something in my head where I came up. I actually wrote the solo and then wrote the song around it. In this case. And I came up with this, but I wanted it to be, when I was playing that, I was thinking about 60s pop solos, guitar solos, how they're very lyrical. Somebody explained to me once, one of my guitar teachers says, solo should be, imagine yourself singing, or humming something. That's how you should think of your guitar solos when you write them. And a lot of those 60s pop songs were very, very poppy and very rhythmic, and the guitar solos were very simple, very melodic, and memorable in that way. And I wanted to write a song that had kind of a 60s influence on it, and from that just little bit of a riff, I came up with this song that I'm going to play for you guys. Are you guys interested? Sounds good? Sound like something you want to hear? So this song is called Sweet Green-Eyed Girl. And this song is from the Ants in the Pantry album. Take a listen to it. I was writing it. I was, again, also thinking influences, again, where the second half of tonight's discussion is. Those influences from my parents, the Motown, Tamala sound also was something that I was listening to. I was listening to a lot of Motown stuff, the poppy stuff. And so, but I wanted to do it without any keyboards. I wanted to do it with just guitars because, again, this is a rock album, but I wanted to show that you could do a pop song just with guitars and bass and drums. So this is it, guys. I will play it for you. Let's turn it up. And this is a Sweet Green-Eyed Girl. It's going to be about 3 minutes, guys, so please take a listen if you don't mind. I wanted those skippy drums, Keep it.
Trying to tell you, I'm under the spell when you're around
Guitar solo. So I wrote the song from around that. Weird. All right, so that's my song, Sweet Green Eyed Girl. I hope you guys liked it. Again, a weird thing where I wrote the guitar solo and then wrote the song around it. That's a true story. Again, the production influence is there. It has a beat and you can dance to it. Yeah. Yeah, again, it was written again with me thinking of the Motown Tamala kind of thing in the back of my mind with a little bit of that West Coast pop to it. And then the beat was a program beat. So I programmed the beat on, that's actually drum machine. So I programmed the beat because I wanted to have a skippy kind of rhythm to it. And laid the track down, and it came out okay. I like it. It's again, it points to my pop influences and drawing from those influences. So I wanted to talk about it and bring it up because a lot of you guys out there are producers and writers and musicians yourselves, and I want to encourage you. Thank you. I appreciate that, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I want to encourage you, to write, to keep writing. Don't let age, don't say, oh, I'm too old to write, or nobody's going to want to hear this, or I don't have anything to contribute. I think it's a shame. Definitely something I could picture hearing on the radio. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate that. If the radio allowed for, for that kind of thing to allow to happen. We as independent artists is what I'm trying to say, have to take back, the music culture. It's already dying. I pointed out before that there are no rap albums in the top 10 this year. And I'm hearing from people on the ground that are telling me that record labels aren't signing rap acts anymore. So they have wrung that monkey dry. And I talked about the stats briefly a little while back about how alternative rock is climbing and starting to take the forefront again. And that's a good thing because I really think that when I was growing up, again, talking about influences, when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s, when radio wasn't segregated, there was a radio station and it played everybody, Elton John, Stevie Wonder, Fleetwood Mac, Led Zeppelin, James Brown. That's the kind of the kind of radio station that I grew up and therefore I was influenced by everything. It all came to me. I was fortunate because I wasn't just listening to the top 40 that was giving me whatever is the flavor of the week, nor was I just listening to urban radio or just listening to the rock radio. I was, and segregating my chances of hearing something awesome. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't want to do that. All the good stuff. you know, and the stuff that and so I encourage us as independent artists to keep writing, to keep composing, um, whether it sells or not, that's another thing. But I think that you always have something to say. Nothing against rap, but there's nothing better than seeing live music with guitars and drums. I agree. I agree. My dad listened to bluegrass. Well, I'll play you guys a snippet of another song. I wasn't gonna play it live because it's kind of really slow and boring. But just I'll play you my country roots. So this, guess I've traveled a different road. With every step I know, I should worry for my soul, and I guess I've had my share of lovers. And how I have discovered you can't live beneath the covers. Well, ooh, well, my. We're all just passing time. And in the end, baby, it will be fine. But till then, we're just passing time. All right, so that's the song from the album called Passing Time, where you see me reaching into my country roots. And when I was, here's some Lionel Richie in there somewhere. That's all right for somewhere in there. That was an influence. Well, for all the ladies out there. Yeah, but this was me showing my country roots. With just this song features me on acoustic guitar, my Yamaha, and mandolin. This is the solo on this is mandolin solo, which is showing my country roots. Again, pulling from these influences of bluegrass. Thank you, I appreciate it. Bluegrass again, I listen to a lot, um, and writing from these influences. So these influences are the output. Yeah, I would play. Check out. Go again, guys. Go. You can preview the album when you go to Bandcamp. I hope after you preview it, you like it enough to buy it. I do appreciate you supporting this channel by buying the record. But you can listen to that. You can hear the whole track and listen to the mandolin solo on that. That song was recorded in my studio in Singapore, which had a beautiful ambiance to it. I set up a mic at the end of the room and then went up close so I get the room ambiance on the guitar in stereo. And same with the mandolin. But mandolin is a tricky instrument. You actually have to back it up off the mic. If not, it's too shrill. But listen to that. It came out beautiful. But these are the influences. You see my Motown Tamala influence, and then in this song you hear my country bluegrass, you know, maybe even James Taylor a bit too in there. And so we have a lot to say as older musicians. I'm a sucker for ballads and slow songs that I've been given a hard time about from my whole life. Could care less. I love them. Thank you, Ben. I do too, and I enjoy writing them. Everybody needs something to dance to. I agree with that, but sometimes you need to kick back and have a nice slow song. And I've got another ballad. I'll play you another snippet. I'll play you the first 15 seconds of. This is a real ballad. When I wrote this one, and then I'll wrap it up here, guys. I don't want to take too much of your time this evening. I know you got your Labor Day things to do for some of you. This song is a ballad too. I'll play you a little bit. It's called. It was going to be. Oh, thank you. Well, the well is awesome. Yeah, The Well is a song that I took a lot of time with the orchestrations. I got a Spitfire Audio's orchestra package, And as you know, I live down the street here from the Concertgebouw, which is the big main concert hall here in Amsterdam. And I often attend symphony. And I wanted to I wanted to compose a symphony, and I wanted the song to be in 3/4 time. I wanted to have a little Beatlesque, that Beatle kind of old timey kind of sound to it as well, and I wanted to tell a story that was heavily in metaphor, and so that's the Well. That's a slow song. So there's three ballads. Yeah, the Well is one, Passing Time, and the other one was going to be the title track. It's a song called A Heart Comes in the Cold. I'll play you the first bit of it, guys. It's actually not a guitar. It's the one non-guitar song on the album. I wanted something with me playing piano and also orchestration as well. I was watching a lot of Queen at the time. And it doesn't quite sound like Queen. It's not like them, but I was thinking about Freddie and his piano playing. I was thinking about that kind of vibe. So and also I was thinking about James Bond themes, like when you're seeing the theater and the theme song for whatever that particular movie comes in, it always sounded so big to me. So I wanted to write something big. So this is the other ballad I'll play a little bit of. They say the angels cry and their tears turn into rainbows when a heart comes in from the cold, and love will keep it warm. Yeah, I was going crazy with the strings. Read a letter on the 1st of May, and he fell to the kitchen floor. Goes to show you every man will cry when his heart goes out the door. But by the next spring he found a love that was so true. He discovered that time can heal those wounds. They say the angels cry and the tears turn into rainbows when a heart comes in from the cold, and love will keep it warm. So this song is interesting. I was just thinking about it as I was listening to it, that this track is one that the drums was me playing drums on my kit. I had the full kit in my studio in Singapore. Again, the strings were Spitfire Audio. The piano was a really good piano sample that I had from, I forget the company, but it just sounded beautiful grand piano sound that I just loved. And anyway, so that's another ballad that I wrote. So again, guys, inspiration coming from everywhere and writing in different styles. And I just wanted to share those three with you. I was gonna do one, but it ended up being three. But thank you for indulging me with my music. Again, guys, this is from my album that we just released with my band. Title Asanoki is the name of my Japanese band. And the name of the album is Ants in the Pantry, and it can be found only on bandcamp.com. So take a chance, take a spin, take a listen to it. Yeah, so, thank you guys for listening. And thank you guys for supporting this channel. Thank you, Ben, I appreciate that. It's a great album. Like, the mastering, I'm glad I mastered it myself, guys. In the end, I waited Jock out, but unfortunately, just our schedules were conflicting, so he couldn't get to it. But I'm glad I did it because mastering is different from mixing, and it's another skill that every album it just gets better. And this one was mastered really well. I did a great job on that. I wish I could go back and go back to the last album and remaster that. I might just go back and remaster because I learned a few things about getting clarity, keeping your clarity. But it's a beautiful album. Take a listen, guys. Support the channel. Buy yourself a copy of it, guys, and support me. Support this content. And in exchange, I guarantee you will get 30 plus minutes of fun, good music. There's certainly there's something there for everybody, I hope. All right, guys, that is it for this evening. I'm going to end on that up note. Remember, guys, something that somebody said the other day, they said the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is actually indifference. Hate is a feeling, that has a strength to it, obviously. But indifference is the opposite of love. So don't be indifferent in anything that you enjoy, your loved ones, your family, your pets, your friends. Thank you, Carl. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Don't be indifferent this week. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Just, again, I always try to keep it positive. Don't be indifferent this week. That's, play with that. The opposite of, think about it, what I just said, the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. So, deal with that and try to apply that this week. And we shall see each other again soon. I know what I am going to review. I'm going to talk about this Strat, and then I'm going to talk about it in comparison with the Les Paul that I have, and some insights that I've come into now that I have the two to play around with. So that's coming up this week on the regular content of the show. This week, we will see each other again next Sunday, God willing. I thank you guys so much for supporting this channel, for showing up, for being a part of the live stream. And you have a good weekend. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.